What's up guys, Chris VA Travels out here in Staunton, Virginia, and I'm going to visit the MANSE, which is the birth home of our 28th president, Woodrow Wilson. And I'm going to take a tour of the house. To let you know, right there is his presidential library, and you've got the visitor center and museum in there, and there's a really cool world exhibit in the basement. And I've actually taken the house tour. There's no filming or photography on the inside, so I'm going to try to improvise, maybe find some pictures online. But yeah, house was built in the 1840s. Woodrow Wilson, born here 1856, December 28th, 1856 to be exact. And he only lived here just over a year. He grew up, the family moved down to Augusta, Georgia. Lived there until he was in his teens, and then he lived, of course, in Columbia, South Carolina. I've done a video on that home if you want to check it out. And then briefly lived in Wilmington, North Carolina, before going up to Princeton for college. Before I walk around the house, I just see this historic Birthplace, 1896. It's got a little bit of a Queen Anne vibe. Yeah, I would call this Queen Anne. And cool, cool Palladian window right there. Cool tower. Yeah, it's got the wraparound porch. That's definitely Queen Anne, and a bunch of Victorian homes on this row. And I'm going to come back down here and do a tour of the city. This one goes back to 1894. But yeah, these are all Victorian homes, so this place must have been popping late 1800s. Yeah, so I'll come back and do a tour of the city. But let me go up, take a walk around the house. Oh, and a word of advice for you people from out of town. We are in Staunton, Virginia, not Staunton. Here in the South, we don't use all the letters in the alphabet. So I made that mistake one time. But yeah, you'll see 4 internal chimneys and small little portico. The house, they weren't wealthy. The house isn't too fancy. But yeah, put on the register in 1964. So just walk around, big old spruce over here, and those aren't native to Virginia. They're more popular once you get west of the Mississippi. And basement, those windows weren't original to the house. Also let you know we're right next to Mary Baldwin College, and the Wilsons were friends with Mary Baldwin. Yeah, there's some people in the backyard. I'm going to give them a minute. But you'll see that chimney out there has a couple flues on the inside. But yeah, a little eyebrow window, kind of dormer on the side of that pitched roof. And yeah, I just wanted to show you the side of the Birthplace. I'll also let you know that Wilson spent his retirement years up in Washington, D.C. I've done a video on that house if you want to check it out. So I guess I need to make my way up to New Jersey. I'm pretty sure there's a house up there you can visit. Brick wall surrounding the property. It's got a little bit of age to it. Gazebo over here. Oh yeah, so pretty much I wanted to show you this giant double portico back here. Yeah, this thing really stands out. I'm surprised they don't have this on the front. But let me walk into the backyard where I can get a better look. Yeah, so Woodrow Wilson was the first Democrat, Southern Democrat, first Democrat elected in 20 years, and only the second since the Civil War. So it was a little bit of a big deal. And yeah, it looks better on the back than it does in the front. And this thing was white at one time. It was painted white. Yeah, so there you go. That's the back of the MANSE. What is this? They used to have some boxwoods that were planted by his second wife, Edith, but they died out in 2015, just a few years ago. Some sort of blight. Oh, all right, so there was a rose bed over here. Okay. Oh, you'll see a sundial over there. Like I say, these terraces. Cool matching gazebo over here. And this looks like a pretty cool place to chill out. Oh, I'll let you know, tickets are $20. Like I say, you buy them right in here. His presidential library. There's also a gift shop in there. And there's the back of the museum. And yeah, I'm gonna walk over and take a look at the front of the gift shop. It's a pretty nice building. Let me show you Mary Baldwin real quick. Quite a complex. And it was named after her, Mary Baldwin, after the Civil War. All right, pretty similar building over here. Like I say, his presidential library. There's not much to see inside. I mean, a bunch of books, and again, there's a gift shop in there. So, cool small little gate. And I'll show you real quick. This is the Emily Smith Reception House. Oh wow, yeah. Fortunately, I don't have any information on it. Check out again, Palladian window up on that gable, and pretty neat work on that chimney. These arch windows right above that big bay window. Okay, you see it right there, Woodrow Wilson Presidential Library Museum. And some more spruces. This Adams family looking house over here. Like I say, a ton of Victorian homes, but I'll get into all that at another time. All right, so I'm gonna go in and take a look at the museum. All right, made it inside the museum. Let's go take a walk around. His father, Reverend Joseph Wilson. Pretty good picture, kind of an Abraham Lincoln vibe. His grandparents over here, his grandmother Anna and grandfather Judge James Wilson, born in Ireland. Dress worn by Woodrow as a child, and judging by the size of that thing, he must have worn it till he was about 11 years old. His father down there on one of those old penny farthing bikes. There it is, painted white, looking good. And his sisters over here, Anne and Marion. Take a look at his student lamp. Scholar and teacher, a Presbyterian gentleman, it says. This ribbon is from his mother Jessie's French guitar. Pretty nice piece of porcelain. And a book of Psalms down here. Of course, he was governor of New Jersey, and here's an old desk he used. Pretty simple. And looks like maybe kind of a campaign ad in Harper's Weekly. It takes grit to remove grime. There he is campaigning at Seagrit, the governor's summer house.
And I see a guy up there on the porch roof. I don't know if that's a photographer, but yeah, pretty big gathering. All the well-to-dos. Here's his bronze bust on a granite base, done in 1916 by Joe Davidson. Pretty nice. Got some pretty big ears. These political cartoons were pretty popular back in that time. And this is showing Republican business interests missing the high tariff. Yeah, that guy looks pretty sad. Well, here's his first year report card from 1914. Looks pretty happy. The big stain on his legacy: he believed in segregation. He grew up in the Deep South, had different experiences, had different perspectives. He thought it would be better for African Americans. He thought it would relieve racial tension. But yeah, segregated Princeton, expanded segregation in the government. Bunch of female progressive organizations. Okay, out in Richmond. Suffrage movement. Bunch of nurses right there. And buttons were popular back then. Votes for women. All right. Huh. During the 1916 presidential campaign, he pushed for neutrality and for us to stay out of World War I. And then about 4 minutes after he won the election, we ended up joining. Pretty nice uniform right here. Cool little epaulets on the side. And this is Dr. Carrie Grayson. Commemorative tin plate from 1918. Wilson surrounded by all the Allied leaders. Looks like one of the Romanovs there to his right. And all the different flags of the different countries. Pretty good painting up here. Right after he finishes up with World War I, the Spanish flu hits. And it may not have originated from Spain, but the King of Spain caught a real severe case. That's where its name comes from. But yeah, worldwide, between 17 and 50 million people died of the illness. His famous 14 points, used for peace negotiations toward the end of the war. Here they are, broken down. Number 5, kind of calling for the end of colonization. 14, create the League of Nations. Collection of weapons here were brought to the United States by Captain Hugh M. Pinkerton. The United States actually didn't withdraw its occupation until 1923, and the last French soldier departed in 1930. And check out this helmet over here. That's pretty cool. Ship over here is called Freedom of the Seas, and it's a model of an armed cruiser, carved with whalebone accents. And Wilson was welcomed to Paris on December 15th, 1918, to the largest parade the city had seen to that point. He was made an honorary citizen of Paris and received many gifts, including this model ship. Wilson Bridge, crossing the Potomac. And there's Edith down there with JFK. And she's with 2 of her great-grandchildren. That would be Jesse and Thomas. Lovebirds right there, and this is the spring following their wedding, and he's about to throw out the first pitch to start off the 1916 baseball season. He was the last president to be brought into his inauguration by horse and buggy. An end of an era. Alright, headed downstairs to look at the good stuff. World War I exhibit and just some old war bond posters. German machine gun over here. And yeah, things were really stepped up during World War I. This was nicknamed the Devil's Paintbrush. It was found by Wilson's physician, Dr. Cary Grayson, while they were touring the battlefields over there. Yeah, trench warfare. The Shosha, hope I pronounced that right, commissioned in 1915, and it was the first machine gun made to be used by a single operator. Gas mask used by the Allied soldiers, and these had to be worn if you were within 12 miles of the front. Fun fact, this is when soldiers had to begin shaving so the mask would fit tight to the face. Yeah, so no more big beards. And yeah, World War I was terrible. Probably the worst war when it comes to just the horrors of war. And yeah, this picture is horrible. Yeah, that's grotesque. And then a surgeon's kit over here. And then shrapnel over here that was removed from a soldier. This is pretty cool. Inside one of the trenches. And this is about where they spent 4 years on the Eastern Front. And I've heard it said the Battle of Petersburg during the Civil War was one of the first examples. Okay, picture up there of what they would have seen. And then over here we've got a periscope. Trench periscope. Looking over no man's land. And alright, here's a picture from the time.
Back here, we're going to take a look at his limousine, and real quick shout out to Richard for his efforts to preserve and restore the vehicle. All right, well, there's the engine. White walled tires. The hood right here. Pretty nice vehicle, built in 1919. There's the seal right there. And he rode in this with President Harding when he was inaugurated. Woodrow Wilson was the last president to be brought in by horse and carriage during his inauguration. Yeah, I like the little lights on the side. Little shades you can pull down. What is this back here? Okay, you see the fuel tank back here, it looks like. Pretty neat. They've got a little video you can watch to hear the horn. All right, and real quick, there it is. Yeah, built at a plant up in Buffalo, New York. 6-cylinder vehicle, weighed 6,000 pounds, reached a top speed of 60 miles an hour. Yeah, like I said, it was completed June of 1919. And his chauffeur was Mr. George Howard. Oh wow, here's how it looked in the 40s when it was packed away. And if you want to see the gauges, okay, there's the gasoline, the oil, and it's got a little clock on it. There's Edith right there, riding high. And yeah, obviously that's not it. But okay, there's this house up in DC that he lived in very end of his life while he was retired. Yeah, after suffering that stroke. But I've got a video on that. If you want some more information, you can go check it out. Oh yeah, and he received the car when he came back from Europe after negotiating the Treaty of Versailles. Came back to a crowd of 100,000 people. Cool hood ornament right there. They started making vehicles in 1901. They were originally built on horse-drawn carriages and could reach 20 miles an hour. Okay, there's a chauffeur right there, George Howard. Pretty nice looking man. All right, and there's the lighthouse. Last thing, let me show you these license plates. Was this in AAA card? Cool. Oh, keys. Oh yeah, and here are the hours. They're open every day. But with that, I'm gonna get out of here. So as always, you can follow me on Instagram. If you want to help me get out to more of these places, you can support me on Patreon. Yeah guys, like and subscribe. See you on the next one.